I married childhood sweetheart and everyone said I picked up the slack. If Vivian Su hadn't left the country, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I never refute this. I just smile. After all, even I feel the same way. A year later, when I learned that his first love was preparing to go back to China, I was smart enough to pull away from him, ready to step aside at any time, but he questioned me with an accusing face. Lin Kohan, do you have a heart or not? In the middle of the night, I was woken up by the ringing of the phone. It's an infuriating thing to be woken up not long after falling asleep. I nudged the person next to me with a hint of annoyance in my tone. Connor Burke. You phone. Connor Burke touched the cell phone on the nightstand. It was dark and black. Then poked around and picked up the phone that had been ringing. Nina Lin called you. I heard that it was my cell phone. Just now I was still straight and strong. Instantly wilted. Took over the hand and pressed the connect button. What is it? Did I wake you up? Did I wake you up? I knew you'd wake me up. But you still called. No one usually calls me late at night. So the first thing I thought when I heard the phone ring just now was that Connor Burke's cell phone was ringing. I have something important to tell you. You talk. Is Connor Burke with you? Nina Lin glanced at Connor Burke sleeping beside her. Move your cell phone out of the way. I'll talk to you in a whisper. My heart thumped. Did Connor Burke have someone outside behind my back? So I went to the living room. You talk. Did you know that Connor Burke's first love, Vivian Su, is coming back? How do you know? Ethan Moore told me by accident. I asked him to keep Connor Burke's secret, and he was so evasive that he wouldn't tell me. But I threatened him, and he told me, okay, I get it. Thank you. Janet, Nina Lin asked me with a little bit of hatred. I know. Don't you panic. What are you panicking about? Aren't you afraid they'll rekindle their old flame? I can't stop them from rekindling their old flame. Nina Lin saw that I looked so indifferent that she got angry and hung up the phone, even though I said I didn't care. I still lost sleep over the news. I lay in bed tossing and turning, unable to sleep. As I was about to roll over again, Connor Burke scooped me up. Since I can't sleep, I'll exercise. As soon as the words left his mouth, he captured my lips in the darkness and laid down a kiss. I wanted to refuse, but the thought of Vivian Su coming back made doing something like this once less likely. I felt I still had to cherish it. After all, the two of us really hit it off when it came to that. So I responded to him enthusiastically. More so than every time before. He seemed to sense my initiative as well, and became aroused under his gentle yet passionate attack. I completely felled. I slept until dawn, curing my insomnia. Awake. The sudden noise startled me. What are you doing here? Why can't I be here? That's not what I meant. Don't you have to work today? I'll stay with you today. I'll be busy for a while. You said you'd be with me for the first time, and you told me you'd be busy for a while. Are you giving me an advance warning? I suddenly feel a little funny. I am the kind of stalker. I'm not the kind of person who wants to be with you, but I don't have the time. I laughed and looked at him. Living like a play hard to get scummy girl, the kind that sleeps around and runs away. He stiffened for a moment. Got a date? I'm meeting my little sister for shopping. After saying that, he was about to get up, but he pulled back. I let out a cry of surprise and fell directly into his arms. Still shopping? It seems I was too gentle last night. After touching the blazing fire in his eyes, I panicked a bit and hurriedly pushed him away in broad daylight. Stop it. But he wrapped his arms around my waist and refused to let go. Then will you accompany me? If I didn't know that he had a first love in his heart, I would have thought that he had completely fallen in love with me. When I think of his first love as coming back, my heart should be very different. The face is smiling and kissed his lips. I don't need you to accompany. You also don't be lazy. Work hard to earn money to support me. I don't know if this sentence pleases him, or he is from the beginning is in the test me. I finished his hands to let go of me. After that day, it was as if he had disappeared. No messages, no phone calls. First love is coming back. I understand. I'm not used to it at first. After all, once upon a time he was busy. He would also send messages to me every day. Good morning. Good night. When the mood is good, will also share with me what I ate today. At first I felt bored. Just casually perfunctory, slowly. I will also share some interesting things with him. I was just sharing purely, not thinking that he would reply me back. but every time I shared small things with him, I got a response. Over time, we got used to making small talk a few times a day. So much so that I'm a little uncomfortable when he doesn't actively seek me out now, even still hold the phone from time to time, waiting for his message. As soon as I get a message, I assume it's him. I felt like I was going crazy. So I asked my little sister out for shopping, drinking and stargazing, trying to numb myself with busyness. Gradually, I turned over my hand less and less frequently until one day I received a message from him. So many days. Why don't you send me a message? I gasped and laughed. This person can really turn black and white upside down. I'm afraid you're too busy to bother. And then there was no more then. But I still turned my hand over several times before going to bed without waiting to hear from him. I laughed at myself for being ridiculous. How I got over it so quickly. I woke up with a start, only to find someone hugging me as I slept. I touched the other person's high nose with some disbelief. Wasn't he ready to alienate me? Why did he suddenly appear again, while I was frozen? He caught my hand, accompanied me to sleep again. He rarely sleeps, except when he comes back from a business trip in the middle of the night. After he came back this time, he spent time with me as usual. It too was as if the detachment that was possible a while ago hadn't happened. He would occasionally initiate messages to me, also would bite my ear and ask me if I wanted to do it when it was amorous. So blunt that it's hard to pick up. I also usually don't answer. Just kiss up and say it all with my actions. His initiation puts my previous efforts to waste. I really don't seem to have much resistance to him, after all. He has broad shoulders, a good body, and a stoic demeanor that I like, although his first love is coming back soon. I decided to live in the moment and talk about the future later. As much as I like it, I'm not compelled to have him, with that figured out. I just started coasting along and waited out the wild storm. Nina Lynn saw me learn that Vivian Sue is coming back soon. Not a bit of movement. Should eat. Should drink. Should sleep. Not the slightest sense of crisis. On the contrary, let her quite anxious. Hannah, tell me the truth. What exactly do you plan to do? I supped a mouthful of milk tea. Slowly said, enjoy the moment. You're enjoying the moment when your enemy is coming to your door. I'm not back yet. What's the hurry? So you've already got a plan? Nina Lynn saw that I had a plan and asked curiously. What are you going to do? Wait and see what happens, Nina Lynn asked. Auntie, can't you take care of yourself? Your husband is about to be snatched away by someone else. If he can be taken away by someone else easily, why should I keep him to see him showing love to other women in front of me all day long? Although you say so, don't you really like Connor Burke? He has money and face. He's the man of many women's dreams. If I like him, will he like me and not leave me? This is a question to Nina Lynn. More like a question to myself. The final answer was a silent silence. After all, we all know how much Connor Burke loved Vivian Sue back then. On the day Vivian Sue returned, her friends organized a return party for her. This is what I learned from Nina Lynn. She asked me if Connor Burke had spoken to me. I said no. Then she said, if you don't go, I won't go. I guessed it might be Ethan Moore who was bringing her along. There really was no point in upsetting Ethan Moore for my sake. So I advised Xiner. Ethan Moore likes you so much. Don't bully him all the time. Nina Lynn was furious. Why am I bullying him? Isn't it obvious that Ethan Moore brought you to the party? You should know how to treasure someone who loves you so much. Why do I sound like a scum? No. I'm just envious. What do I have to envy? You could have gotten Connor Burke. It's useless for me to try, I said, a bit discouraged. How do you know it won't work if you haven't even tried? Ask yourself. I really haven't worked hard. I've worked so hard that I've even lost my heart. How else can I work hard? In the end, no matter what I say, Nina Lynn is not going to be able to get into it. Saying that she can't be more interested in color than in friends, I knew she was being unfair to me. But I also sincerely hoped that she and Ethan Moore would be happy. The day before the party, William Wong, one of the organizers of the party, approached me. William Wong is a friend of Connor Burke and Vivian Sue, and I don't hang out with them. I was a little surprised when I opened the door, even though I don't hang out in their circles. I've met all of Connor Burke's friends. Connor Burke is not at home. I know. I'm here specifically to see you. Me. I'm confused. I don't think we've ever met, and he didn't beat around the bush. We're throwing a welcome back party for Vivian. You're invited. Why? I like Vivian Sue. It's none of my business. Aren't you afraid they'll rekindle their old flame? We know exactly who they mean. I'm a little amused. If they want to rekindle their old flame, is that something we can stop? But I ended up accepting the invitation, wanting to struggle a little harder, immediately after sending William Wong off. I tweeted Nina Lin. I'll be there for the party. Did Connor Burke ask you to join him? I knew it.no. Then I told her the whole story, after learning that it wasn't Connor Burke. Nina Lin was so angry that she scolded Connor Burke. I don't know why Nina Lin was so angry. Who called it not all the same? A welcome party only. In the morning, Connor Burke told me before he left the house that he had a party in the evening and asked me to go to bed first and not to wait for him. I said yes without telling him that I would be at that party too. It was only after I went that I realized what Nina Lin was so angry about. There was an unwritten rule at the party. Those who have a partner must bring their partner. Those who don't are considered single. That's when I realized William Wong's intention of inviting me to the party. I have to say, these people are really good at what they do, while sighing. I regretted coming. I'm afraid that if I come here today, everyone will think that I'm going to break up the lovebirds and declare my sovereignty. I suddenly had a headache and took a drink and found a quieter place where I could see the whole party scene and sat down. I searched around and couldn't find you. Are you not here yet? Without looking at my cell phone, I knew who this message was from. I clicked on it, and sure enough, it was her. Arrived. When I looked up, I saw her, too, with Ethan Moore at her wrist, looking around while checking her cell phone. I don't know what Ethan Moore said to her, so she followed Ethan Moore and found a place to sit. Where are you? I'm coming to get you. Don't do it, or your family will be jealous again. I don't trust you alone. You don't worry about me. Are you afraid I'll bully someone else? I flirted. Lin Kuhan, can you talk properly? Okay. Don't be angry. I'm coming to you. When I went downstairs, I found that a lot of people had already come. Some of them were obviously incredibly surprised to see me, yet they still smiled and nodded their heads to greet me. After all, I am still Connor Burke's wife now. Of course, the ones who couldn't see me before still couldn't see me. Even now, with an added undertone, who gave this undercurrent is self-evident. I knew that most of the people on the scene were waiting to see me laugh, but I pretended not to know. Stepping on high heels, step by step through the crowd to the center of the circle surrounded, the first person to see me was Nina Lin, who excitedly called out to me, Henin, here, and patted the seat beside her, signaling me to sit there. Her words made all the people who were talking and laughing before look at me, their eyes full of surprise, as if they didn't know I would appear. Even Connor Burke had a flash of surprise in his eyes, but it was quickly collected by him. If it wasn't for my sharp eyes, I'm afraid I would have missed it too. Connor Burke waved at me as I walked towards Nina Lin. Hannah, come here. I froze for a moment and looked at him dumbfounded. He seemed to notice at that moment that the empty seat beside him was long gone, but when he called out to me, I could clearly see that Vivian Sue, who was sitting beside him, also froze. As he was about to get up to make way for me, I sat down next to Nina Lin. I'll just sit here. As we chatted, we got to talking about Connor Burke and Vivian Sue's school days. Point one, talk like a thief. Not sure if they didn't take me seriously or if they were trying to piss me off. I looked at Connor Burke and Vivian Sue, who were sitting right there, so I listened with interest. Connor Burke at first had a cold face, and he didn't bother to talk to others when they cued him. At the back of the room, he would only slightly agree with a few voices. I guess he was angry with Vivian Sue at first. That's why he intentionally called out to me in front of everyone and asked me to sit next to him. Now, listening to them talk about the past, remembering all the good things, the whole person becomes softer. However, it seems that they have agreed to talk about Connor Burke and Vivian Sue. After listening to them for so long, it became meaningless. I took the opportunity to leave and went to the garden of this country club. It's a good thing I've been here a few times before with Connor Burke, or I wouldn't know where to go at the moment. I settled down on a bench and enjoyed the silence of the moment. Lin Kihan. Hearing someone call out to me, I instinctively reacted with a response. I didn't think it was really you. Daniel Shaw seemed a little surprised to see me. Senior, you're here too. I was also a bit surprised to see him. Well, I was dragged here, first love meets. And has not seen for a long time. When we see each other again is a bit awkward. For a moment do not know what to talk about. It's good that he's a person who is particularly capable of enlivening the atmosphere. He shared with me a lot of interesting things abroad. It made me, who was originally bored out of my mind, have some interest. As we were chatting happily, we were interrupted by Connor Burke, who appeared out of nowhere. Han, it's so cold here. Let's go inside. When he said that, he was looking at Daniel Shaw, and I didn't notice the dark colors raging between the two of them. He draped his own jacket over me and then pulled me up from the stool without a second thought. I hurriedly apologized to my senior and said goodbye in passing. I couldn't be bothered to brush him off just now. But as soon as I entered the country club, I simply broke away from the hand he was pulling on me to show my displeasure with him. His face, which was caring just now, was covered in frost even at this moment. He cornered me. Oh, you know you're a married woman. I was so angry with him that I laughed. How can this person only allow the officials to set fire but not the people to light the lamps? Besides, I am innocent with the senior, while he and Vivian Sue are not necessarily so. You know I'm a married woman. I thought you were single if you didn't tell me. He sniffed and the corners of his mouth raised slightly with a hint of curvature. What? Jealous now? The slightly raised corner of his mouth pierced my eyes. How could I lose? Why should I be jealous? You're single. I'm single. It's not a good idea. As soon as I finished my sentence, he directly hugged me, nibbling and biting at me. I fought back desperately, but to no avail. It wasn't until he saw the tears pooling in my eyes that he stopped. I glared at him as hard as I could, but my eyes were so full of tears that they seemed harmless. In Connor Burke's eyes there was more than a hint of coquettishness, and his throat tightened, but he didn't do anything about it. I pounded his chest hard and questioned him. Are you a dog? Instead, he closed in on me again, and I was immediately silenced in fear, and uncontrollable tears fell from my eyes. He froze and tenderly wiped my tears away with his thumb, carelessly. He said, Hannah, don't forget you're my wife. Reacting, my face instantly exploded red. If he's a dog, then wouldn't I be? I angrily slapped his hand away, asking him to fake kindness. There was a loud pop, and even I froze in my tracks. When I looked down, my pale skin was instantly colored with a layer of scarlet. I looked over at Connor Burke. A little sheepishly, Connor Burke, however, as if nothing had happened, raised his own hand and dried my tears. Don't cry. It's ugly. I realize that this person is really good at reversing black and white. Why am I crying? Doesn't he have any idea in his heart? He also disliked me for crying ugly. I sniffled and organized my emotions. I don't know if it's the point where I go to sleep or if I'm tired of being tossed around by him, but I yawn at an inopportune time, sleepy. A little. Let's go home. Can I say no? Of course I can't. After all, the main hosts have opened their mouths to drive me away as a light bulb. It would be impolite for me to stay here and disturb them. I answered in a muffled voice, then straightened my clothes and turned around to leave in style, without a trace of lingering. Immediately afterward I saw Connor Burke, who was following in my footsteps. I couldn't help but despise in my heart. Why is this person so chicken? Afraid that I won't leave. Want to personally send me off. Am I that kind of stalker? Could it be that my coming to this party has caused him to have some kind of misunderstanding about me? I opened my mouth to explain, but felt that it was unnecessary. So I shut up. You wait for me here. I'll bring the car here. What? You're going back too? Connor Burke looked at me like I was stupid. It's not right. What's inappropriate? I'm not the star of the show. I don't know how to answer that. Fine. You're the one with the long legs. You can go wherever you want. Point 10. I was really sleepy, and after going back to take a hot shower, I went straight to sleep. Not long after I fell asleep, I was woken up by the phone ringing, even though Connor Burke's hands were already fast. It still woke me up from my light sleep. I squinted my eyes and glanced at Connor Burke's cell phone. The caller ID Vivian Sue, 3 big words on the screen instantly reflected in my eyes. Even the sleepiness woke me up a trifle. Connor Burke went to the living room to answer the phone. And immediately afterward I heard the door slam, although I had the answer in my mind. I couldn't help but feel a bout of loss when the truth drew near. I was woken up in the middle of the night by thirst. My throat so dry it cracked, I touched my side out of habit. And there was no one there, looking in my hand. It was after 3 in the morning. So I guess I wasn't coming back tonight. I took up the cup of water at the top of the bed. But it was empty. My heart was mixed. Connor Burke used to put a glass of water at my bedside before going to sleep, to prevent me from waking up thirsty in the middle of the night with no water to drink. This time the glass of water, but empty, is not in time. Or I in his heart is no longer important. I get up and get ready to go to the kitchen to pour the water. But when I get out of bed I almost fall over. A little lightheaded, I touched my forehead as if I was a little fevered. I went to the kitchen to get a drink of water and realized with hindsight that I had no idea where the first aid kit was in the house. I've had fevers and colds before. And before I even realized it myself, Connor Burke was bringing medicine and water to me. He didn't just have to act. He had to lecture me about it, and only then did I think he had some fireworks. As much as it annoyed me that he was preaching, I knew he cared about me. Rummaging through the living room, I couldn't find anything. I was already a little hard up, and I instantly broke down. Everything from before was in stark contrast to now. This moment, I also realized that I was so dependent on him. When I was about to give up, I saw the first aid kit under the coffee table. After taking the medicine, I went back to sleep. 10. The next day I woke up refreshed. I'm one of those bodies where colds fever come and go quickly. I cleaned myself up and was ready to go out and get high with my little sisters when I opened the door and was greeted by a chipper William Wong. I was taken aback by his aura. Connor Burke is away. After that I was ready to bolt when he blocked my way. I'm looking for you. You're a big man and you still want to hit a woman. I glimpsed his clenched fists that risked greeting me at any moment. So I made a preemptive strike. Who said I'm going to hit you? With a bang, his fist slammed directly on the door, and I felt pain just from the sound. You're sick, aren't you? I'm also angry. Who is this guy scaring? Lin Kuhan. You're useless. You can't even look after your own man. When he said this, I understood. Connor Burke messed with him. He did not dare to find Connor Burke. To find me, this soft persimmon to pinch. I really do not know in the end who is useless. I don't know who's useless. He's free to go wherever he wants. It's none of my business. Besides, he's not a dog, so I can't keep him chained to my side. He was disliked by me half a day, cannot say. Can only be puffed up glaring at me. And finally even some aggrieved asked me, what if they rekindle their old flame? It's sad to see people who are blinded by their feelings. I softened my heart and patted him on the shoulder. Look away. They should have been a couple. You guys felt the same way before. Now they rekindle their old flame. Isn't it normal? After hearing this, he looked at me with a surprised face. Are you not sad at all? I looked at him like a fool. There's no true love in an arranged marriage. He looked at me with a face full of shock and even some horror, as if he knew some great secret. Does Chuan know? He doesn't like me again. Does it matter if he knows? He murmured, then left with a lost face, not even realizing that there was someone standing at the corner. 11. I don't know how much of my conversation with William Wong Connor Burke heard, but I'm sure he heard what I said to console William Wong, because I said it to him on purpose, and I spotted him because I saw the exposed toe of his shoe. But after he heard it, he didn't utter a retort, which made my heart even more heartbroken. William Wong had just left on the front foot, and when I was about to follow on the back foot, I was stopped. Where to? To see a painting exhibition. I'll give you a ride. Don't you have to work? Can't I give myself a day off? That's not what I meant. Well, it's been a long time coming. Cold face all the way. Almost froze into a low-grade fever again. I can be really unlucky. I didn't beg him to send. It's his own want to send me. And the result is that I also give myself a whole unhappy. I'm really a proper big wrong seed. Lin Kuhan. I didn't take more than a few steps when I got out of the car before I was called by my full name. I turned around and looked at him with a puzzled face. What's going on? He looked at me with an accusing look on his face. Do you have a heart or not? I had a questioning look on my face, and before I could say anything, I saw him drive off in his car. Simply inexplicable. I went back after the show and was greeted with a look of apology and concern from him. You fevered last night. Smart as I am, it quickly occurred to me that I didn't return the first aid kit to its place last night after I found my meds. When I looked around, the first aid kit was indeed missing from the coffee table. It's a bit of a low-grade fever, Han. I'm sorry. I should have stayed with you last night. As soon as he finished speaking, a line flashed through my head. Late deep love is cheaper than grass, but on my lips, I said, it's okay. I'm fine. I didn't say a word about the fact that he didn't return home last night. He opened his mouth and seemed to want to say something, finally seemed to give up on himself and asked, don't you want to know why I didn't come home last night? Am I such an ignorant person? You can say what you want, or not say what you don't want. It's your freedom. Then I saw his face darken again. I growled in my mind, isn't this a textbook answer from me? Why am I still angry? Point 12. It was only when I swiped my phone at noon that I realized the reason why William Wong was furiously looking for me. It turns out Connor Burke and Vivian Su were photographed last night, although I already knew it in my heart. When the truth was revealed, my heart still hurt no matter how much I pretended not to care. I realized that it was time for our relationship to end. If it continues any longer, I'm really afraid I'll go crazy. So, when the two of them stormed trending news again, I left a divorce agreement and moved out of his house. I was afraid I would fall again. So I pulled the plug and deleted all his contact info. I embarked on a road trip to let time heal all the hurt. I only told Nina Lin about leaving. I know that she is probably the person who loves me the most in this world, besides my parents. So, before I left, I confessed everything to her. I told her that, in fact, I voluntarily agreed to have this so-called arranged marriage. I wasn't as uncaring as I appeared to be. But I had fallen in love with Connor Burke without realizing it during my time with him. I didn't even realize it at first. But I thought it would be nice to spend my life with him. It wasn't until everyone told me that his first love, Vivian Su, was coming back that I realized I had lost my heart. So I pretended not to care and tried to convince myself to let it go. But in reality, I was just craving for the time I had with him. I was waiting for him to abandon me and let me go. However, he said nothing, but kept torturing me mentally. He defaulted to being single to go to Vivian Su's return party. He stayed out all night, and his first love was paparazzi photographed rushed on trending news. Came back, but why not ask him why he stayed out all night last night? His heart is really too hard to show love with his first love in front of me, knowing that I am his wife in name only. I know what I am doing. So why bother? If he wants to get back together with his ex, just let me know. I'm not that kind of stalker, but he did not. Had to force me to take the initiative to divorce. So I let him get what he wanted and gave him the divorce papers he wanted. Nina Lin and I were drinking and accusing Connor Burke of everything. It was as if we wanted to vent all our grievances at this moment. Nina Lin was heartbroken as she watched me, who rarely shed tears in front of people, grit her teeth and join me in berating Connor Burke. At the end of the day, I wasn't drunk. But Nina Lin was, even when she was drunk. She kept cursing Connor Burke as a big scum. I was afraid that if she went back like that, she would give Ethan Moore the wrong idea. So I sent him a message saying that Nina Lin was at my place and had gone to bed. Point 13. The next morning, after saying goodbye to Nina Lin, I went to the airport alone. I was in different cities, experiencing different customs and eating the most unique local snacks everywhere I went. I would take a meaningful photo and send it to Nina Lin to let her know that I was fine, while I was letting myself go and starting my own healing. Connor Burke was looking for me everywhere like a madman. I didn't know it at first, but Nina Lin told me about it later. She said, I really didn't expect that all of us guessed wrong. The person Connor Burke likes is you. When he saw the divorce papers signed in your name, he tried to contact you. But you deleted and blacked out all his contacts. Then he came after me for someone and threatened me with my family's company, but he thought wrong. Am I the kind of person who betrays her best friend? I choked and said you left. And I don't know where you went, and the fact that you still keep in touch with me is something I definitely won't tell him. Men like that need to be cured. He naturally didn't believe me at first, thinking I was lying to him. For this reason, he even sent someone to follow me. At first, I thought it was a bad guy. And it scared me half to death, causing me to be so worried every day that I didn't even dare to go out of the door. Later, Ethan Moore sent someone to investigate, only to realize that it was Connor Burke. That man's people. Maybe he thought I was hiding you, knowing the truth. I started traveling normally, after following me for months without a single word from you. He stopped sending people to follow me. I end the days when he couldn't find you. His whole body became much more disheveled. I end the end. Even Ethan Moore couldn't stand it anymore and advised me to tell him if I knew where you were, but I was worried that he didn't like you that much and just wasn't used to your absence. I know you've worked very hard at letting go, and I don't want to put you at risk again without knowing for sure if he really loves you. Of course, if he does love you, I don't want you two to just miss out on a misunderstanding. So I asked Ethan Moore to help me out and went to Connor Burke's house. When I went in, a bad smell of tobacco and a strong odor of alcohol almost made me throw up. Ethan Moore saw that I was having a hard time and rushed to pull back the curtains and open the tightly closed window for air, which made me feel a little better. I was shocked at the sight of Connor Burke sitting with a disheveled, bearded face in a room full of empty wine bottles and cigarette butts. Even when Vivian Sue left, he didn't look like this, did he? So it's really obvious whether love is in the air or not, but I didn't let it make me soft. Every time, as long as I remembered when you cried your heart out in front of me before you left, I couldn't help but feel sorry for you. So I still decided to ask clearly for you. Connor Burke was very happy to see me come to him of my own accord. Did Hannah contact you? I was speechless. What makes him think I'm here to send him information? No. I had just finished speaking, and the joy he had just felt was instantly gone. The whole person is completely without the previous unbeatable, replaced by a wilting atmosphere. I think there's a misunderstanding between you and Han Han. Did she say something to you? He looked at me expectantly. I know he's a good buddy of Ethan Moore's, and Ethan Moore's been fretting for a while about him. So this time I came here. I also want to help Ethan Moore. I blocked my nose with my hand and looked at him with a disgusted face. Is this how you plan to talk to me? He probably realized that it wasn't right for him to look like this, so he said he was sorry and told us to go wait for him in the living room while he cleaned up. It's true that a man is only as good as his clothes. Connor Burke, after cleaning up, instantly became a lot smoother. I told him unapologetically that before you left, you did look for me and cried a lot. All of us thought that the person you liked was Vivian Sue, but I didn't expect that what you liked was actually Han Han. I really don't understand. Two people who obviously like each other, why do they have to hide it and hurt each other? Han Han told you that she likes me too. He said this with surprise and joy in his eyes. Obviously two people are so smart. In front of love, how is it like a fool? Even the other party, whether they like themselves, cannot figure out. I don't want to talk nonsense with him. What's between the two of you should be resolved between the two of you. So I did not hesitate to give him your address and told him to find you as soon as possible within 10 days, or else he would miss you forever. So she's been keeping in touch with you all this time, right? I looked at him with a wary face. Are you trying to settle a score with me now? No. Thank you. Later I realized that he was not looking for me to settle the score, but put it all on my Xiao Bai. Before he left, he gave the company to Ethan Moore, and he even gave his word. Your wife almost made me lose my wife. Before I come back, the company will trouble you. All your compensation to me. I was complaining about Ethan Moore not being there for me afterward, and he talked to me about it. He's the one who lost you, and he's blaming me for it. He's so good at turning black and white. He's such a dog. Hanin. Think twice. 14. Connor Burke came to me without stopping after learning the news from Nina Lin that night. As soon as I entered my room, I was hugged from behind. I almost screamed out loud if I hadn't smelled the familiar scent of wood pine. He held me tightly and whispered in my ear, Han Han, I miss you so much. He can't find me even if he has a heavenly skill, because I won't stay more than half a month in each sitting city. So I'm sure he found me so quickly because Nina Lin told him. Of course, with my understanding of Nina Lin, she won't betray me. If you don't let go, I'm going to call the police. We are a legal couple. The police can't control us. I left you a signed divorce agreement. I thought he hadn't seen it and emphasized it, forgetting all about what he had just said to me about missing me. He let go of me and looked at me from close range with a hint of anger in his eyes. You want to divorce me that badly? After saying that, without any further ado, he started to forcefully kiss me. I wanted to refuse, but my body was honest. I know that when he hugged me and said that he missed me, the wall that I had only built up inside had already fallen apart. Connor Burke sensing my response, stopped restraining himself as well and came onto me hard. We milled from the doorway to the living room and then to the bedroom. Watered down and natural, after a few good turns. He let me go for good when I woke up. The sight of him asleep beside me actually put me in a bit of a trance. I traced his face with my fingertips, making sure over and over again that this wasn't a dream, that this was real. When I saw the dark blue under his eyes, I couldn't help but feel a little heartbroken, having been held by him. I felt a little hot and wanted to gently withdraw from his arms. I don't know if my movements were too heavy and woke him up. He fished me back into his arms and said in a dark voice, "If you move again, I won't be able to hold it anymore." I obviously felt the change in his body. My face instantly burst red, and instantly did not dare to move. "Rascal. Only to you, rogue. Is shamelessness so justified? What about Vivian Sue?" It's not appropriate for me to mention Vivian Sue on such an occasion. After saying it, I regretted it and vaguely confirmed that the person he liked at the moment was me. He rolled over and directly pressed me underneath him, and somewhat furiously questioned me again. "Lin Kuhan, do you have a heart or not?" I instantly felt aggrieved. "Everyone knows you like Vivian Sue." He looked at me, seemingly somewhat helpless. He left my body and directly half sat down. Leaning against the bed, he put his arm around my shoulders and forced me to look at him. "The person I like has always been you." Seeing my skeptical face, a flash of unnaturalness crossed his face. "Weren't you with Shinru Pak freshman year?" I didn't know why he suddenly mentioned this, but I nodded anyway. Until then, I thought you had me in your heart. But after you got together with Shinru Pak, I realized I was being presumptuous." When he said this, his eyes were not looking at me, and I understood the unnaturalness that had just flashed across his face, hoping that this guy would even be shy, afraid that I would mock him for being self-absorbed. "I don't believe that we grew up together as childhood sweethearts and you have no feelings for me. So I found Vivian Sue to pretend to be my girlfriend, wanting to stimulate you. But they all say you love Vivian Sue to death." Seeing his awkward face, I couldn't help but tease him. "How could Mr. Gu be so childish? Vivian Sue gave me the idea. She made it up for others to hear, and then rumors spread. And it became what others thought it would be. I can't help but feel that rumors are really harmful." Then before Vivian Sue came back, "You suddenly stopped contacting me. Wasn't it to alienate me?" Seeing me rehash old scores, he seems to be very happy and made a statement immediately. "Hannah, I never wanted to alienate you. That time there was an accident in the company. I didn't want you to worry, so I didn't tell you, and then I stayed up for a few days on my own to solve it." No wonder he pulled me to sleep with him for a while longer that day. So he had done so much for me when I didn't know. But even so, I feel the need to solve the misunderstanding that exists between us. The party where Vivian Sue returned. "You went alone. Do you know that the rule of that party is that those who have a partner should bring a partner? And those who don't are all considered single." Hearing me talk about this, he was a bit aggravated. "You said you didn't like that kind of occasion. And when I took you in a few times, you complained that it was boring and you'd rather sleep at home. As for the rules, I know, but everyone knows I'm married. That." I froze. It seems like I did complain to him before. I didn't expect him to remember it all. "Then you stayed out all night." He got mad at me for saying that. "Vivian Sue threatened me. If I don't help her, she'll tell you that I've always had a crush on you. I am also a person who wants to save face. I don't want you to know that I like you before I am sure of your feelings." She also has a favorite person abroad. The boy also like him, but never said to her like. She wants to force the boy, so she asked me to help her play a scene. Moreover, at that party, when I saw you and Shinru Pak talking and laughing, it gave me a crisis. And I also wanted to test you, and then I agreed to do it. That's when I remembered why Connor Burke was hugging and nibbling and biting me at the drop of a hat the other day. So it was jealous, and that sentence Han, "Don't forget you are my wife," was him warning me, but I misunderstood it, unconsciously recalled a lot of things in my mind. "You asked me why I didn't ask you why you stayed out all night. Did you want to explain it to me?" Hearing me mention this, he looked at me with a grudging face. Yeah, but whenever you ask me, I'll tell you everything, but you didn't. And also said with Wong how that Vivian Su and I were originally a pair. Rekindle their old flame is also deserved. Do you know, at that time, I heard you this sentence. I was angry to death. I sent my lips up and kissed him as a consolation. You don't want to get rid of me with a kiss. This person really knows how to stomp his nose. What do you want? He kissed me and whispered in my ear. Payback. I sighed at someone's brazenness. But I explained to him anyway. Actually, before I said that, I knew you were there. I saw the toe of your shoe, so I said that to test you. When he heard that, his eyes suddenly lighted up, and he said arrogantly, I knew you liked me too. Later on, when you and Vivian Su were once again on trending news, I thought you guys were going to rekindle their old flame and left. I'm sorry. Han. I should have told you earlier. I was too proud of myself, seeing his face of guilt. I feel bad in my heart too. I end this relationship. I also have the responsibility, but if I am brave, we will not be separated, after all things are said and done. We realize how deep the misunderstanding of each other is. After the misunderstanding was solved, we were together, after suffering the pain of having to live with a dead face. We both no longer hide our love for each other. We began to express our love with each other recklessly and spread dog food.